Today, we're going to take a look at consumer discretionary or consumer cyclical stocks. The ticker for that, if you look at the Spider Select ETF funds for the different sectors of the stock market, is XLY. And we can see here over the past 5 years that there are two clear winners. There's the S&P 500, there's VU, and then there's the NASDAQ QQQ, or in our case, QQQM. We prefer that over QQQ due to its slightly lower expense ratio. We see that consumer discretionary is lagging. It's only up about 61% in the past 5 years. Now, what are consumer discretionary stocks? These are companies that people tend to buy when times are good, when they have lots of money in their pockets, and they are companies that people tend to avoid when times are bad. So when you have rising unemployment, when you have a recession, when you have things that are just not generally good for the stock market, people tend to avoid consumer discretionary. And that's where the word discretionary comes from. People tend to be discerning with their money and buy them when times are good and not buy these companies when times are bad. Look at the past 3 years, and we see that there's a slight outperformance to consumer discretionary over the S&P 500, but the NASDAQ is the clear winner at 138%. Look at the past year, and again, we see the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 basically tied up in the mid to upper teens, and we see that consumer cyclical lagging at 5%. So we may have some uncertainty in the coming years in the stock market. Consumer sentiment is at a really, really low point. Unemployment is ticking up. So this may not be the best place to invest our money for the year 2026. But the question is, can we find gems? Can we find value within this sector that can help diversify our portfolio while also helping us to beat the overall stock market? So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at 6 consumer discretionary or consumer cyclical stocks in the stock market, in the United States stock market, to see, can we find any value for the coming years? So we apply a stock screener very similar to the one that's linked in the description below. And we found these 6 companies in consumer cyclical, consumer discretionary. So we find Expel. This is a company that makes auto parts. Amazon, we all know Amazon. This is Amazon Prime, Amazon Web Services, the backbone of the internet. They are Amazon, the company that we buy everything from basically these days and have delivered overnight. Urban Outfitters is a clothing company. Rollins is a pest control company. Casey's General Store is a convenience store. They're a gas station that sells a bunch of snacks. They have allegedly amazing pizza that you can get on the go. And then Figs is not just an apparel company, but this is an apparel company aimed at the healthcare sector. So people that work in the healthcare industries, that wear scrubs, that need comfortable shoes for being on their feet all day, Figs is the company for that. So we apply our scoring method here, and we see that only one company fits the bill for our 5 and above criteria. Or rather criterion. If you're new to this channel, the way that we score companies is we rank them from -10 to +10. -10 is the best company, or I'm sorry, -10 is the worst company ever, stay away. +10 is the best company ever, take a very close look at it. And 0 is neutral. So we want to be discerning with our money. We don't want to just throw our money into whatever. And so we like to be a little picky and a little choosy when it comes to our scoring method and only look at companies that score 5 and above. However, because Amazon is such a solid company, we're not going to necessarily just ignore these numbers and say, let's just buy it anyway. But we're going to lower our bar today and look at companies 4 and above. So Urban Outfitters and Amazon would get a closer look, mainly because Amazon is such a beast mode of a company. Okay, so we're going to just make a slight exception. If the numbers don't work out, if the intrinsic value is still poor, we will not be buying Amazon. But because Amazon is such a fantastic company, we're going to lower the bar and say, let's only look at companies that are 4 and above. Now, what's going on with Amazon? Well, Amazon's expected to grow revenue 11% over the next 5 years, annualized, and 21% EPS growth. Their forward 5-year PE is about 13, which is phenomenal. Their current forward PE for next year is 30. So you're getting it in 5 years. If you were to buy Amazon today, you're getting it at a 12.83 forward PE in 5 years. If they can execute on 20.68% EPS growth annualized for the next 5 years. That's just fantastic. Getting Amazon at a 13 is great. Casey's, we don't see anything lit up in boldface type. It's a pretty decent company. I mean, they have a PEG that's over 2. That gives us a little pause, little cause for concern. Their 5-year forward PE is about 20. That's if they can execute on about 11.84% EPS growth. So nothing stands out in these numbers for Casey. Same thing for Figs. They have very low debt to equity. However, their EPS growth is expected to come in at 105% per year for the next 5 years. That's going to be very difficult for any company to do. So when we look at our intrinsic value calculations, I believe we're going to use something significantly lower just to be cautious and conservative, and we'll point out those numbers in a bit here. Now Rollins, this is the pest control company. They have some of the best profit margins at 14%, some of the best return on invested capital at 21%, return on equity is 36%. So all great numbers. PEG is super duper high at 3.5, forward PE at a very, very lofty 48, and the 5-year forward PE still very, very high for Rollins at 32. So little concerned with those numbers. Urban Outfitters coming in at a 5-year forward PE at 8. That's phenomenal. They have a PEG ratio under 2, almost at a 1. That's great. Forward PE at 13.5. And finally, we have the auto parts company, Expel. Great numbers across the board. We have a PEG under 1. We have a 5-year forward PE at 8.29. We have revenue growth at 11%. We have EPS growth at 30%. That's fantastic. We will be using slightly lower numbers for this just to be cautious and conservative in the intrinsic value calculations. And some of the best return on invested capital of these 6 companies coming in at 15%. So the question is, what are these companies actually worth? If they can execute on these numbers or slightly lower, what are these companies worth? What we're going to do is compute their intrinsic values. Okay. What are the intrinsic values? Well, you can see we have 2 videos in the description. They're linked in the description of this video, and they show you how to do the PE multiples model and also the dividend discount model. Because these companies aren't really known for their high dividends, we're not going to look at safety scores in this video, and we're also not going to do any dividend discount models. But that dividend discount model video is for you to review in the link of the description of this video. Also, you can find the PE multiples video that I will be using to value and score and sort of get an idea of what these 6 companies are actually worth. As Warren Buffett famously said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. It doesn't matter what the stock price is. What matters is what are these companies worth? What is their intrinsic value relative to their current stock price? And so if we can find steal deals, if we can find bargains in these companies, then we're certainly going to pounce on those opportunities. So just a quick reminder as to what the PE multiples model does. We put in a stock ticker. That spreadsheet that we made automatically gets the EPS, the price, and the PE of those companies. We put in what we expect the earnings per share to be for the next 5 years annualized. And so if you remember, Figs was something like 105%. So we're using 50% in this model. We have a scale down factor, which says for years 1 through 5, we expect 50% growth. For years 6 through 10, we're going to cut that in half. So instead of 50%, years 6 through 10, we will be using 25%. And we give it a terminal rate of 3%. That means this company is expected to grow 3% per year forever. And a discount rate is what we would expect to get instead of that investment. So we would want a 12% return on our money somewhere else if we did not invest in Figs. And the higher that number is, the riskier that company is. So for Figs, we're using 12%. Just to be cautious, okay? We want to make sure that we really bake in margins of safety into these companies. Something like Amazon, we use 8%. We're comfortable with Amazon. It's one of the biggest companies in the world. They're probably going to be the first company to ever get $1 trillion in revenue in a single year. And so we are very comfortable with Amazon. So when we did Amazon, we did, I believe, 8% for our discount rate. But anyway, that's just a quick refresher on how to compute intrinsic values. Again, if you want to see how that's done, how to build out this spreadsheet for yourself, to have this very valuable tool in your toolbox for investing, check out the link in the description below. But we have the scores for these 6 companies. We are going to automatically ignore Rollins, Casey, and Figs because their scores are just way too low. They're below 5. And we're also going to see that their intrinsic values are quite low as well. So these are going to be 3 companies that we will be excluding. However, for Expel, the intrinsic value that we came up with was $60 per share. They are currently trading for 52 bucks, which means that we have a 13% margin of safety. Now, we typically like margins of safety to be 20 and above. We want to be very cautious and very conservative with our money because these intrinsic values really are just guesses. They are very educated guesses, but they are still guesses nonetheless. And so it may not be 60, it may be 58, it could be 57. We could be off with this estimate of 60. And so what we want to do is bake in a margin of safety and say that even if we're wrong and the stock is actually valued at 55, we're still buying it at 52, so we're still going to make money. Okay, so that's what the margin of safety calculates: is how safe are you, um, how far away can you be and still make money. Okay, so we typically like 20% margins of safety when it comes to companies, but 13% is pretty decent. Now, Amazon, we can see why we included Amazon, even though it only came in with a growth score of 4. It's currently trading for 233. We think it's worth 375. That gives us a 38% margin of safety. And so we see that the weight of this, which we'll get to in a bit, for investing in these companies, it's a 1.52. It's much higher than the weighting of Expel because of that very, very strong margin of safety, even though it's coming in at a 4, not a 7. Urban Outfitters, we think that it's worth 94 bucks per share, currently trading for 77, margin of safety of 18%. And like I said, we excluded these other companies, and not only because their scores are so low, but intrinsically, Rollins we think is worth $19 per share. It's currently trading for 61, way too expensive. Casey's is currently trading for 569. We think it's worth 356, way too expensive. And Figs is just not worth it. We think it's worth 13. It's currently trading for 12. That does give us a positive margin of safety. However, not enough to justify, especially with a score coming in at -1. So here we have it. We have our 3 companies that in the consumer discretionary space we would consider investing our money into. So just a reminder, nothing on this channel is financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold anything in your portfolios. You need to do your own due diligence, your own research to make sure that what you are investing in is right for you and your portfolio. However, using the formulas and using the algorithms and the strategy that we employ here at Interfinance, if we wanted to invest $100 into consumer discretionary, we would put 28 into Expel, we would put 48 into Amazon, we would put 23 into Urban Outfitters. So if so far you've gotten anything out of this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. That would really help us out. We're trying to grow and reach as many people as possible, giving them the good news of this wonderful methodology of investing into the stock market. The thing I want to end with, though, is comparing this to what Wall Street thinks. All right, what does Wall Street think about the intrinsic value and the potential growth for these companies? So we think Expel is coming in at 60 bucks per share. Analysts actually don't look at this company. On stockanalysis.com, there are no analysts that are even looking at Expel. So there's nothing to really compare here, which might be a little bit concerning. If we look at an overview, their market cap is about $1.4 billion. So they are a very small company, which is bad because if their company starts to hit hard times, they're really going to plummet. But if things are going well, then that's going to really drive up the price because there's such a small market cap. So Expel, no analysts to speak of to really look at what their forecast might be. However, Amazon, if we look back at Amazon, we think that Amazon is worth 375 based on our calculations. Analysts think that Amazon is worth on average 284. So they still see a huge upside. Amazon is currently trading for 232 bucks. On average, analysts think that it is $284.70. It's coming in at a strong buy based on what Wall Street analysts think. And the average upside is 22%, median is 29%. So even the most bullish of analysts think it's coming in at 340. We think it's 375. Regardless, there's a lot of room for growth. Amazon should hopefully have a strong, solid 2026. And finally, Urban Outfitters, we think that they are worth $94 per share. Analysts think that that's kind of in line with what analysts are coming up with. So Urban Outfitters average price of 84, or rather $87, coming in with a consensus of buy. The high estimate there is $98, the low is $70. So we think it was, I believe, $94 per share. So we're on the upper end of the bullish end of the spectrum of what Wall Street analysts think. But there's hopefully room for growth with Urban Outfitters. If we look at a quick overview, no dividend to speak of, so no real safety baked in. We're not going to get any sort of cash flow from it. They are almost a $7 billion company. So do your own due diligence, do your own research into these companies. We by far think that Amazon is the best buy in consumer discretionary, consumer cyclical for the next year. 2026 should hopefully be a fantastic year for Amazon. Maybe throw a couple bucks into Expel and Urban Outfitters. We think that there's some room for growth there. They have decent scores. So let us know what you think in the comments below. What are you buying? What are you selling? What are you holding in your portfolios, especially when it comes to consumer discretionary? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you got anything out of this video, and we'll see you on the next one.